It's been quite a while since I made a video for this channel. I've been busy. Well, in my last video on this channel, I talked about doing the floor in my basement, and I think that was just before Christmas time. And so I actually did that. I finished the floor down there, mostly. I still have to do the room just outside the listening room. What I want to talk about in this video is this saw, actually, because I was using this down there, and I could directly compare this. Now, I used this before. All right, let me give you a little bit of history with this saw. I got this a few years ago in a deal I made with to promote this Flex Volt tool line for DeWalt. A few other video makers did the same thing. Okay, so I got this saw, I got a table saw, and a few other tools. And I made videos about that on this channel as well. So you can go back and find those. Or maybe I'll link those in the description, so it'll make it easy. Anyway, so I had this saw. I really didn't use it beyond what I did there because I had the Hitachi over here that I had set up, and I was using that. But I had this down in my basement to cut the boards, like to do the border, really. And I noticed that it works, I can't say it's radically better than that one, but there are some features that I like better. First of all, okay, maybe it has to do with the age, and this is not really a feature. That saw, compared to this saw, this one's a little tighter. Well, a lot tighter. It feels like everything locks in a lot tighter than that one does now. Maybe that one, loosened up over the years. Possible. It's still accurate, don't get me wrong, but this one locks in super tight. I am super confident that it is actually where it's supposed to be. The other thing is when you turn it on, hang on, it casts a shadow on the workpiece that lines up with the edge of the blade. So it makes it easy to line up your cut. And I have to say that I've never been a fan of the blades that DeWalt makes or brands. But this one that's on here is really good, really sharp. I did all the cutting down there in the basement, cutting hickory. Hickory is not a soft wood. It's hard on blades and still sharp. Like it was cutting splinter free. Way better than the blade I have on there. Now this blade that I have on here, once again, is a little bit older. It's a bit more used, but when you compare the two, this one was cutting a lot cleaner. It's also a little bit thinner than the one I have on that. Now, I think this is still a 12-inch saw. I didn't check that, actually. Yeah, it's still a 12-inch saw. It's a compound miter, and it's a sliding compound miter. So it has all the same functionality as that one, except it's newer. And the other thing about it is that it's battery powered, but I have this adapter that I was playing with before. Hang on, let me pull it off. So they gave when they sent me the saw, they sent this along with it. So this replaces the batteries. You put the batteries in here, those two of those big 60-volt batteries. But I was using it with this, and it works really good with that. Electric brake on this works better than the Hitachi. Once again, that might be a matter of age. The Hitachi is, wow, it's closing in on 20 years old. Like I've been using that saw for about 20 years. And this one has barely been used. So there's really no comparison in that regard. Like things wear out, okay? But I'm thinking that it's worthwhile at this point to take this saw and put it in place of that one. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I think I'm going to film the process and make a video about it. I did the floor downstairs, and I kind of took my time with that. Part of that was that I didn't really have a choice at the time, because I was actually carrying that saw down to the basement to start using it and getting that set up. I threw my back out a little bit, and I'm almost over that, but I'm feeling a twinge again because I just carried this out here. And the day is still young. I have to take that other one out, which is heavier, and put this one in, make a bunch of changes there. So yeah, sore back. I know, nobody wants to hear anybody complaining about that kind of stuff, but it held me up. And I used this as an excuse not to do anything else. But the floor was a big job, and I got that, 99% done. I still have a little bit of flooring to lay outside the room, but that won't take long. And it wouldn't have been part of the video, the build video for that project, except, I sat down to try to start editing that video the other day, and I'm saying to myself, this thing is probably not going to get very many views. I'm probably wasting my time with this. I don't know how many flooring videos there are out there. I mean, this one could be interesting to the people that subscribe to me and are my diehard fans, I guess you could say. But broad appeal, I don't think it has it. So I'm kind of holding on to that, and not, like, it was my intention to release it yesterday. And I sat down with that, like, to do that. But I said, I'm not going to get any views on this. And I've already put out 3 in a row. The ceiling, the door trim, and that picture frame. They did poorly. I didn't want to release another one that's going to do poorly as well. So instead, I'm going to work this week putting that saw in, and maybe I can make that interesting enough to get enough views on it to, bump up the view count on a video. So at least for now, I'm going to hold on to that footage, and maybe at some point in the future, I'll get around to editing it if I can think of a way of making it so that I know it's going to get some views. In the meantime, I'm out here in my shop, of course, and it's like a bomb went off, of course, because when I get into a project, I ignore everything else. Everything else piles up. The floor is covered. There's all kinds of stuff out here. You see behind me here, I bought more wood. This is cherry, 8¼ by 8, 3 pieces that are 10 feet long, so a few bucks here. I've got a couple of specific projects that I want to do with these. Also, while I was making that picture frame, the poster frame, I was vacuuming out an area, and to get my vacuum to start, I had to turn on my sander over here, my belt sander, because it's automatic switch there. And when I turn on the sander to turn on the vacuum, while I was vacuuming, the sander sanded right through my air hose. So I don't have any air out here anymore. I've got a hole in my air hose, so I had to go out to the shed and disconnect it from the compressor. So I got to get that fixed. And unfortunately, I had a lot of the hose rolled out, so it's like past the middle point in the hose, the hole is. And if I put a coupling in, like, you can repair hose, of course, you can put a coupling in and a couple of pipe clamps, hose clamps on there. But I don't know if how that's going to affect it rolling off. I'll have to get it and try it and see, and I'll go from there. But yeah, stuff like that happens. And then I heard all this hissing and blowing, and I'm vacuuming, right? And I'm saying, what the heck is that? What's going on? And I was trying to look out the window to see what was happening out there, and here it was, the hose. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it. That's about all I have to talk about this time around. I got to get the new saw put in there, and hopefully I can make it fit as long as, like, it's wider. I think it's a little bit deeper in total, but this thing has a hose coming out the back that's not going to work with my vacuum pickup because it's too far back. So I don't know what I'm going to have to do. Maybe I'll take that off and try to make some sort of adaptation to it to make that work better. But we'll see. I'll tackle that as I'm making it fit in the place where the old saw is.